So hello, welcome to our Zoom panel. My name is Ms. McGuire, and I'll be the moderator for today's event. Guiding Light Academy is a private Catholic school based in Streetsville, Mississauga. We offered an enriched curriculum for students in junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, and grade 1 to 8. We have 2 parents here and a student who has graduated from Guiding Light Academy and would like to ask them a few questions about their experience at the school. And so I'm going to get you all to introduce yourself. Miriam, can you introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm 15. I'm going into grade 10. I graduated from GLA in 2020, and yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Smolders, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Michael Smolders. My wife and I are the parents of 6 children, and 2 of them are currently attending Guiding Light, and another one is being enrolled. So we will have 3 this September at Guiding Light.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinkovich, can you introduce yourselves too, please?
My name is Slavik Zinkovich. Me and my wife, we have 3 kids, grade 8, grade 7, and grade 2. And actually this year, student from grade 9, our son, he will be going to grade 9, Natalia grade 7, and Marie grade 2. And we've had the oldest ones since the beginning of school.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to start by asking questions to Miriam, who used to go to the school. So what did you appreciate most about the school during your time there? And how has your perspective changed now that you've been away from the school for a while?
I would say that what I appreciated most about the school was how prepared I was, academically and spiritually. So I'm going to my second year of high school, and I see just like how prepared and how ready I am because of the school. Academically, they pushed us a lot, and they brought us out of our comfort zone but they always challenged us and to challenge ourselves. And I see how important this is and how helpful it is. And spiritually, we had mass every day, we did prayers, and I'm very thankful for that, because now in the mornings I do a little prayer, and then I learned to see how much it helps. And something else that I really appreciate about the school is that they don't follow all the Ontario curriculum in regards to health and spirituality. And I love that, because I think I could get a deeper understanding of my faith and how to integrate it into my everyday life. And now that I've spent some time away from the school, my perspective has changed in the sense that I realized how prepared I was coming out of GLA. And when I went into grade 9, I was a little bit nervous, but it didn't last long because I felt ready and I felt well trained.
Thank you. This kind of relates to some of the things you've already said, but what, to the best of your knowledge, differentiates the schools from other schools?
I would say that how well they prepare you, but also something else is the sense of community and family that you feel in the school, that in a lot of schools that you don't feel, and this, like, the close knit of all the families, we rely on each other, we can support each other. And I grew up in the school. I've been there since kindergarten, and I know most of the families, and it's just like a really great sense of family and community that you don't find in a lot of schools.
Thank you. And if the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in 3 words?
That is an interesting question. I would say that the school, most of all, is supportive, because there's always someone there that you can talk to. There's always someone there who helps you spiritually, academically. And I would say that they would be the kind of person that always brings out the best in you. They always push you for a challenge, to do the best that you can. And third, I would say that this person is very competitive in a good way. That we always have little competitions in the class, who can do the fastest math question, or who can who can do the best in the spelling test. And I think that's really important because it helps you to push ahead and to never let yourself come low. So yeah.
Ooh, okay, thank you. Um, what would be one thing you would change about the school for the better if you had to choose something?
I wouldn't I wouldn't particularly change anything, but maybe I would add like a summer school, something, because I've noticed that during the summer sometimes we tend to forget things, our writing goes down, and I feel like in the summer, if we had maybe a few extra courses or something to help us, that it would benefit us during the school year.
What would families find most surprising about the school?
I think families would find, I've mentioned this before, but the the closeness and the tightness of all the families, but more importantly, I think the support that all the families put on top of each other, and the that we can rely on other families, that you're not alone in this journey with your children, and that each teacher, they're always supporting you individually. And the good thing about the school is that the class sizes are small, and so a teacher can work with you on your own, and you're not alone. So
And what advice would you give to students just entering the school?
some advice. Um, I would say to not set your standards low and not come in with the mindset that we're just gonna pass with 50s, because at times I had that mindset, and I think that's important that you set your standards high and that you push yourself. And you don't let others pass you, and oh, I got a 50, it's okay. No, you always have to try your hardest, and just yeah, set your standards high.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Those were all our questions. Thank you. So now I'm
you.
going to ask the parents. The first question is, why did you choose the school originally? And which ways is the school what you expected, and which ways is it not? So I'll start
Well,
with Mr. Smulders.
okay, I'll go first. So we have three of our older children did not go to private school. They went to the Catholic School Board. And for quite some time, we had seen the deterioration of Catholic formation. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to, eventually have them go into a private Catholic school. But we never made that choice because we were really close with the church and we did formation at home. So we felt like we could actually supplement where the lack was in the public system. But it was when we started to see the deterioration of the actual academic side. I felt like coming home. They were coming home from school, asking them what they did, and every other day it seemed like they were just watching a movie, and it just really felt like they were coasting. And so the combination of the two, both of the faith formation and the academics, was the reason why we decided to put them into Guiding Light. What we expected was that because we were making an investment in their education, that they would get a lot more attention and would be pushed, and that there would be a much better Catholic formation, which was met remarkably. What we didn't expect was our one son was 10, he was in grade 5, so we were actually expecting that it wasn't going to be the best transition. And so that went above our expectations. He actually embraced it really well. He became much more pious. He loved it. Academically, he did really well. So the transition out of the public system with Catholic School Board and into Guiding Light was a nice surprise.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinkovich?
So like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 children, and grade 8, grade 6, and grade 1. And starting from September, the oldest one will be grade 9 in high school, and 2 girls in grade 7 and 2. And well, time goes by very fast. I remember bringing Lucas to SK, to Guiding Light Academy. And he was just half a semester in JK in Catholic school, which is about a 5-minute walk from our house. And a lot of our friends were asking us why we are doing this, why we are choosing private school, what's the reason, if you have funds for it, and why waste time and stuff like that. But we know that over time, this was the best choice that we've made to prepare our kids to send them to school that we knew will teach them good Catholic values, and that we would not regret it. And sooner or later, those who were kind of questioning or mentioning here and there, our choices because of COVID, actually a lot of parents told us that this was the best decision which we made years ago. It's kind of funny how it came back with positive response from parents like us. And the most important criteria when we were looking for school was to look for true Catholic values. And we loved Brothers, Heralds of the Gospel, being with school, which provides good religious formation. And all this is managed wonderfully by Brothers from Heralds of the Gospel, like I said. And they are very, very important, exceptional, and integral part of school. And this was one of the biggest items when we were choosing between different schools where to send our kids to. And I believe without good, strong, truthful Catholic formation, without Brothers, the school would just not be the same. And for the last 8 years, we've been exceptionally pleased to have them. And they do help parents, administrators, and teachers, and of course students. What we loved about school is a strong bond to Jesus, Vatican, and Our Lady Mary. And we know that we have to be on constant alert, as to what's going on nowadays in the world. And it's not easy with, adult life, society, economy, politics. And we as parents have to be constantly very, very watchful for any evil influences which could poison or destroy the strong bond that we wanted to build between, of course, parents and our kids, and also between our children and Jesus, Mary, and authority at school, teachers, other parents, administrators, so they could learn hierarchy, the proper hierarchy, in the real world. The best needs to be faith, and then, of course, the first needs to be faith, and the rest of it will follow if it's in a proper order. And what we loved about school, we were introduced to school bringing masses, morning masses before school starts, which we really loved, and our kids always participated in those masses, and they loved doing prayers right after coming from masses to school. And we were set to a big unknown, and we were nervous. Like my wife wanted to sit, just outside the window looking at school at our kids, and transition with the middle one. Natalia was not that great because she was crying for about a month teachers are great, and they just, did things they needed to do, and they've explained it to us, and it took about 4 weeks, and Natalia slowly came to students, to teachers, and she was integrated into school, because we had a very, very strong bond. Before our kids joined the school, they were always with us, and just like most kids, I guess. And she kind of learned the hard way, but now she's kind of laughing and smiling. Yeah, really, that was me. So that answers the question, I guess.
Thank you. So, you both touched a little bit on this already, but what is the biggest impact the school has had on your child? Mr. Smolders?
Yeah, for so for our 11-year-old, who's 11 now, it was his piety for sure. Just the conversations we have at the dinner table were all around what he had learned at school, and he was talking about the saints, which is, for a father, when your son is talking about the saints at the dinner table, you couldn't ask for anything more than that. And then for our younger son, Asher, who's 4 going into, turning 5, it was his joy. He loved it. He loved being with the friends. He loved being at the school. And so again, as a father, seeing joy in your children is, that's hitting on 2 of the things that were great. Also, I would say with the 10-year-old and the 11-year-old, it was his maturity. He seemed to mature really quick. A lot of the friends, that he would be hanging out with, he stopped to hang out with. And it just seemed like he was elevating in his maturity, and he was kind of catching up to his older brothers rather than mimicking the peers that he was hanging out with in the Catholic school board. And those are the biggest impacts.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinkovich?
From what I can see with our children, they have built a great bond with their friends, and this will definitely last a lifetime for them. They love their friends, and what we've learned from administrators and other parents, that there is no bullying at school. Nobody is left out. Of course, there is friends who they like more or less, but there is none of that, which I just mentioned. So they have a very strong connection, and I believe this will be carried on to high schools and wherever else they will go, and will definitely last a lifetime. And they've learned a good time management. We always encourage our children to have a bit of break when they come from school, and then start doing their homework, not leave their homework, till when it's due, or till next week, because a few hours left may not be enough. And they've learned the love of books, and we were just amazed how our oldest one, he was just flooded with the books. We constantly were buying books for him. Then we switched to libraries because it was just going hilarious. And he always looks for books on internet and stuff, and he reads really fast. And nowadays, having a child reading the book is really, really important. And not just books on the internet. He doesn't read those, by the way, but so none of those ebooks and stuff, but the actual physical books, and he loves them. The same thing with the other 2, which is really amazing. Maybe it has something to do with the genes, but I believe a lot of it is the philosophy of school, how the school does it, and how it encourages our kids and other kids to fall into love of reading. The biggest impact also, I would say, which may not seem important, but it's cursive writing. A lot of our friends are raising, their eyebrows, like, what, cursive writing nowadays? Why would you do that? And I don't think I would exaggerate if I would say that our grade 9, the oldest one, he actually can write as fast as he talks, which is really amazing. And I believe, later on in life, or, if he will need to take any notes, taken any courses or whatever, writing something, it's really, really important for him. It's not a big deal just to, grab a piece of paper, a pencil, and write something. But also when he gets ready to write like essays or anything, like he doesn't do it on a computer. Like he grabs, a lined paper and he just does it. It's just unbelievable. And Natalia, the second one, is the same, and we think it won't be any difference with the third one at school. And the last one that I would like to add is that what we loved, what one of the biggest impacts what the school had on our kids and is having is preparing them for any sorts of exams or quizzes. I was always afraid of those when I went through school system because I was not introduced into exams or quizzes, right from grade one, but later on. But the idea of the school, the philosophy was to make it fun, to make it constant, so it won't be any surprise, it won't be any shocking, so the kids have minimal stress. And I believe to them it's just like a second hand. They are absolutely not afraid of stress. To them, it's just like grabbing a glass of water. Oh, exam or a test. Of course, they have to study, they have to prepare, but they are not afraid. So that level of stress, that level of unknowingness or any fear, we can see that as parents is virtually non-existent, which I believe will help them greatly in their further education.
Thank you. So the next question I have for you both is, what does your child have to say about the school?
That's a great question, because that's one of the things that I kept asking, especially our 10-year-old when he went into guiding light at the age of 10, was every day, how is it, how are your teachers, and everything was positive that he came back. But the thing that he really loved is he got to think. So he would always remark about in the different classes how he got to think. They got to really dive deeper into things. They, in French class, they talked about France. They talked about the history of the French people. In religion, they talked about philosophy, and they talked about history and knights and kings. And so he really loved that it wasn't so fragmented and like rushing through a curriculum, but actually learning to think and to discover.
And I had mentioned that they constantly talk about a great friendship that they have with their friends, and they are, which is really great. They are competing with the students in their classes, with and it's really great because it brings them to get better grades. So it's not just competing to be the best, to be the winner, but competing to be together. And we always hear, maybe not nowadays when we have virtual school, but when they actually go physically to school, it's, yeah, I saw him or her, and she has a 5-page essay, I have 8-page essay. So there is a bit of competition, but they start reading each other's essays, they compare math, and they are commenting on how they did it. And they always want to improve. They are not saying that, oh, I want to do better than him or her, but I'm going to improve my work because I've learned something. So that's really great. What we have observed, because we just don't want our kids to kind of win, to be the winner, but also to have fun and to learn and to grow through the whole process of learning. And what they loved about school is learning, is that big appetite for knowledge, but also, which now of course is missing because of COVID, but to go into various school trips, especially to a nursing home, which is very close to Streetsville, and they've always been telling us great stories about how they play the piano, how they spend time, and they gave themselves a lot of time and dedication to create all sorts of cards for nursing home residents, and they loved going, of course, to local library because they could just go through the treasure of books and go into field trips like Martyr's Shrine in Midland, and all this along with school, with teachers and parents, is building great bond. So they have a chance to see other parents and also their teachers on the other side, not as being teachers and just giving them commands, teaching them and marking their tests, but being as friends on a lot of those trips, and they could see their husbands, wives, and their kids that they bring to those trips with them, and this kind of breaks that brick wall between the kids and teachers, administrators, which I believe creates a strong bond, because kids know that we're all the same, we are all human beings, and they can be free, open to ask any questions, and just concentrate on being good students, treat everybody with respect, treat them with values, and just move on.
Thank you. So this is a similar question, one that I asked Miriam. If the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in only 3 words?
Sure. I think the statue of Our Lady is fitting as you walk right up to the school, because I would say Our Lady, and the reason for that is because in our Catholic faith in today's world, it's there's a lot of controversy, there's a lot of stuff, and what I love about School of Guiding Light is there's no controversy. There's teaching the faith, teaching our children, and staying focused on that. And then as far as the 3 words, I would say truthful, sound doctrine, very truthful. I would say striving, because they're always pushing the children to learn more, and everything from the exam preparation, as was mentioned, is all towards achieving more. And then, as Miriam mentioned, community, whether it's the boys program up in Schaumburg with the Brothers of the Carol Gospel, or sending us a letter when our grandmother turned 100 and giving her a picture of Our Lady as a present just out of the blue, which very nice, or having moments where we could get to, even during COVID, get together and virtually have the rosary. That sense of community is really there with the school.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinkovich?
Right when we were signing Lucas, our first one, to Guiding Light Academy 8 years ago, we've noticed the same thing. Right when we walked in, it was Our Lady. It was one of the brothers dressed very nicely in his uniform, and we were absolutely stunned. We thought we were on a different planet. Like we just didn't know how to react. We didn't know that such place exists very close to our house, and it was a very, very pleasant and calming experience, and we dived right into it. To best describe the school in as a single person, I would say a true friend, friend whom you can trust, with strong Catholic values, who will never let you down.
Thank you. And we're on our final question. How would you describe the values of the school and the values of the family in the school community?
This is, it's purely Catholic values. If you, as a Catholic parent, Catholic father, you sit there and you want to make sure that your family is surrounded by other like-minded people, and that's where at Guiding Light Academy, that's what we found it from the other people that we've met outside, that go to the school, and just talk to them at the parish, or going to a little barbecue or something with them. It is so nice to find what seems to be a remnant of true Catholic belief systems, true striving towards a virtual lifestyle, and people who live a sacramental life can tell by the families and the people who believe in confession, believe in the necessity of confession and sacrament of the Eucharist, and that just it's uh, it's the way that life should be lived, and it's nice to be part of a community that lives life that way.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinkovich?
I would say what describes school the best would be strong Catholic values. We find we have, of course, so much in common with other parents, and sometimes who've never we met before. So much in common, and sometimes it's just the look. It's just saying hi. There is no other explanation or kind of raise an eyebrows talk. We all understand each other, and it makes it so much easier if we are on the same level, if we are talking the same language, we are on the same planet, and it's other parents' values are very, very strong, aligned with us, and of course with our strong Roman Catholic values and Our Lady, Jesus, Trinity, Pope, and this really helps a lot, and it just it doesn't allow any room for any unnecessary questions, maybe disputes or anything. I've never heard of anybody pulling the kids out of school because of something. Like, we all know what we are signing up for, and we are very, very grateful that we could sign up for such school. And I would say that other families, I think everybody enjoys having kids in our school. We are very, very proud of our school. We don't have to worry about what will be taught to our kids, what and how it will be communicated. We could be, if we wish to, and we've been in constant touch with teachers, parents, and it's virtually a single phone call, email, or text. There is always room for discussions if there is any questions, any doubts, or maybe anything related to academics or behavior of our children, or everything is right in front of us, so we can take care of our lives. When our kids are at school, not to worry about them, like I said, what will be taught and how it will be taught. So all that burden and worriness is taken away because of that trust that the school has built over years, and we are very, very grateful and thankful for that.
Thank you. So we are under time. Is it okay if I ask you all another question?
Sure.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll give you some time to think about it though as well. So I'll ask both of the parents, what is one thing you would change about the school for the better if you had to choose something?
Added a secondary school, add a secondary school portion, so after grade 8 it can continue to go.
That's a good answer. Mr. Zikovich, do you have an answer yet, or you want more time?
Yeah, that's good that you brought that up. We've been asking that question since our son Lucas joined Guiding Light 8-9 years ago, and maybe it will work out for our second and third one. But nevertheless, school has been preparing our kids very well for further education. What we would change, I would say maybe introduce because we've noticed that some of the kids in grade 1 and 2, they may not be ready for computer coding, for example. And we all know that the world has changed and it's constantly changing, and they will be exposed much more into electronic devices, computers, and all that stuff. And our grade 1 student had, and of course, almost entire year she was on a laptop. And I believe that coding, maybe it's been introduced maybe a little bit too soon, because they see it as a computer game. They don't see it as a learning tool yet. But that's just our personal experience with her. So maybe I would have this pushed into grade 2 or 3, but nothing really major or anything of our concern with regards to that question.
Thank you. Okay. And then since we still have time, another question, this one for all of you though. So for Miriam, if you were to recommend this school to another student, what types of things would you say about the school? I'll give you some time to think of that though, because I know it's a question that's not written down. And then to extend the question to the parents as well, if you were to recommend the school to another parent, what types of things would you say about the school to them? If anyone has their answer, you can just like, let me know. Yeah, you have your answer, Mr. Zinkovich, okay.
Yeah, so we've been recommending school to other parents. Like we have a great community, and we know a lot of people. But by the same token, we want to be very, very humble. Like we don't advertise where our kids go. When we socialize, we'd rather stay away because we expect that there could be some kind of backlash or why are they doing this, why they are wasting their money, what's other schools are doing the same. So we'd rather kind of keep quiet. It's only if the opportunity arises, we talk to other parents, or we talk about the school in a smaller environment, or maybe just directly to parents without any further audience, I should say. And we've been telling them basically the same thing: good Catholic school with good values, and where Trinity is the priority at school. And right when you walk in, please call the school. You will have a guided tour at any time you wish with the principal. And we've been telling them how great the school, what good things the school has done for our kids and for our family. Things like faith formation for our children, how they love reading books, how good they are with the grades, that they have a lot of friends, that they learn cursive writing, they learn about different cultures, different people, different countries. They love reading books, and a lot of parents are like, really, cursive writing, interesting. And a lot of parents are actually surprised as well that I mean, they kind of know this at the back of their minds, but they kind of realize that what's been lost over years is that when our kids, when kids at Guiding Light start in grade 1, virtually they go with the same classmates all the way up to grade 8. So that's why they are able to build that strong bond and create great friendships, I am sure, for life. And because in a normal school system, you are just being moved around between different courses, and you meet all sorts of kids from entire school. But in here, because of this small environment, they are able to build that strong bond, and that's kind of surprisingly reminding parents whom we talk to that, oh yeah, that's how it was when I was a little kid in primary school, and they love that concept. And we brought a lot of families to our school, and we will continue doing so. I believe we are more open now, and we are not I should say, so much more quiet about school because of the entire environment around COVID, masks, and everything, where people are virtually start asking us, like, where do your kids go? Like, because they've heard of something from us before, or somebody. And we kind of find it, from the other way around. People start asking us, how is the school? And we find it really interesting. So So that's what's happening because of COVID, and it's much easier for people to kind of it's easier to talk to parents about school when they seem to be more interested as opposed to just us talking about it.
Thank you. Does anyone else have their answer as well? Yeah, Miriam? So what would you say to?
The best recommendation I could say for another parent is, well, two things. Firstly, that if you want to partner with your child's education and faith formation, then Guiding Light is where you would want to go. If you don't want to help form your children at home and you don't really care about helping them with their homework at home, then it's probably not the best avenue. But if you want to invest in your children at home and you need some place for them to go, and the Catholic School Board, the public school board, it has been failing you as it failed us, then you will be able to find that strong partner with Guiding Light Academy. The other recommendation I would make is that from experience, and I'll say from the perspective of not switching from a private school to a private school, but moving away from the public system into the private school system, one of the hesitations we had was this idea that it was going to be a difficult transition for our children and that they would be moving away from their friends and stuff. And I would say that this is the time to make that move for anyone, because over the last year or 2 years, there's been that separation from their friends anyways from COVID. So if you've ever thought about making this move, this would probably be the most optimal time to move your children from the public system and get into Guiding Light. And also because we see that in the public system exponentially, the erosion of the Catholic faith and of true, I wouldn't even say Catholic values, I would just say, divine, natural value, natural morality is eroding away so quickly that, I would highly recommend getting into Guiding Light Academy.
Thank you. And Miriam, you have your answer as well.
For me, I would say if I were going to recommend this school to a friend, probably the most important thing that I've seen is you don't have to be afraid of being, bullied or being left out, because in GLA, and I've been there, 9 years, and that never once happened. And even if you're a new student and you came in, let's say in grade 8, like I've seen people come in and it's like we're all old friends, like there's no separation or awkwardness between people. And also another reason I would recommend this school is because I've seen a lot of my friends who went to the public school, they struggled a lot in high school, academically, and with GLA we did grade 9 and grade 8, and so I felt prepared and I was able to do well in high school. And the last thing I would say is that in GLA you have this support of the students, of the teachers, of the staff, of the brothers, and that at GLA you don't have to be afraid to show your faith, because this is the place where you show your faith, and this is where you learn to be able to integrate into your everyday life.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you for making time in your Sunday to join us and answer questions about the school. Thank you so much for your answers as well.